I learned a new dance and tap group yesterday. Sally?
Turn me over, 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 turn me over.
So we're ready to go? Yeah. Okay. Hello, we're very lucky to have Brittany West here, the writer, director, producer of Old Meal, an astonishingly good student short film that just blew me away. I couldn't believe how good it was. Tell us all about it. Tell us about this wonderful film. Where did you find the actors? They are just astonishingly good.
The guy that's in it was one of my teacher's friends from MCAD. He just recommended having him. He'd never acted before or anything, but he had a really great time. And he would always tell stories afterwards about his acting experience and how much fun he had. So he had a really good time. And the lady I actually found, I was shooting a dance performance for Sally Dixon, who's like a local dance person. She does things with the walker and stuff. So she was dancing in a performance with her, and I was shooting it. So that's how I found her. I just rounded her up and asked her to be in my movie.
Wow. Mm-hmm. And so was there like a director of photography and a composition, or was all that you?
Oh, one of my friends, Adam Ginsberg, I shoot with him all the time. He always shoots my films. So he was around to do all the photography stuff.
Because the lighting and the texture and the composition and like everything visual about the film, the colors and the contrast and everything was just so well done. I mean, the minute it starts, you're just blown away by it. You know, it just grabs you, just the very look of it, and it's like won't let you go. So, how did you come up with the story, or was that a collaboration with Adam? And
No, I came up with the story. Yeah, I wrote it and did all the rest of it. He just showed up with the camera, and my friend Kevin came and did all the lighting for us. He's from MCAD as well, so we all graduated from MCAD, not Adam, but the other people that worked on the film. I graduated last December.
Oh, okay. So you're a recent graduate.
Yeah.
Fresh out of the presses.
Yep.
So was this like your final project?
Yeah, it was my final project for senior project
kind of
class. Yeah.
Wow, it's just really impressive. So. You were an actual film major, the whole 9 yards. You started out being a film major and the whole thing. So I'm guessing that from a very young age, you wanted to work in film.
Actually, I never did. I never liked movies. I never liked watching movies. I just started, I was at MCAD and I wanted to be a photographer. And then I realized, like, after trying to do all these like failed photography projects that were really huge, that everything that I was doing was way too big to say in like a photograph. And so I started making movies, and then I was like, hey, I'm kind of good at this. And so I just kept doing that.
Well, you're more than kind of good. So tell us about what awards this film has won.
Well, it showed at the Walker's Women with Vision Festival, and it showed this summer at another festival in Wisconsin, I think, and one in Philadelphia. And I won a fellowship from MCAD with it, so.
Wow.
Yeah.
So many things to ask. So how long did it take to shoot?
We shot it in 2 days. It was really simple because it was all in my apartment, so it was just like shuffling things around, so we didn't have a lot of locations or whatever. We shot it in 2 days and then an exterior day for the rest of it, so 3 days of shooting.
Wow. Is there anything about the film that you learned that you'd like to share with other people, or was it just sort of a melding together of all the things you'd mastered?
Like, what do you mean?
Was there anything when you were done you were like, oh, I learned that, that's brand new, and I really nailed it here?
Well, I'd been working on like editing a lot. I mean, I'd learned a lot about editing from it, just like how to tell a story and what to focus on and what you put next to each other in order to like convey whatever you're trying to say. So, I think that's something I learned a lot about.
Okay, okay. And is there anything now that you've gone through the whole process and you've graduated? Is there any advice that you could share with the
Yikes.
younger people that are coming along?
I don't know. I'd say, like, well, as far as like working professionally or like, what do you mean? What do you mean?
Student level, a common mistake that you think many students make that if only they'd listen to you.
Well, I just think that they should listen to other people that like listen to, I don't know, the people that know what they're talking about and are trying to help them. I know at MCAT it's hard. A lot of students are like, I know how to do it my way. I'm just gonna do whatever I want. I know I'm gonna make my own movies, whatever. And I think that, I don't know, there's a lot of people out there that are trying to help you make things that are better than what you can do by yourself. But I guess, I don't know, maybe you have to make all the mistakes by yourself in order to learn. I'm not sure.
So is there any advice for like pre-production kind of stuff that
Pre-production kind of stuff. Like, what do you?
Like if you don't do very much pre-production and then get into the actual filming and then suddenly realize, oh, I should have done this beforehand or should have done.
I would just suggest always like trying to shoot like you're shooting a feature, because like that's probably what you're moving towards. And it's I don't know, it's really hard going from like short films where you are just like scrambling to get everything together and then you're like, we'll just figure it out when we get there, and so you shoot whatever you need and then you have like all these hours of footage to edit together. Whereas like on a feature, if you're doing that, it's gonna turn into a mess. And so that's what we always tried to, by the end of like my time at MCAD, we always tried to like figure out how to make sure it was like we're shooting a feature and we have everything planned out and everything's ready to go. So I don't know.
Good advice. Another thing I noticed about it is, despite the fact that it's short, it has a long feel to it. It feels very expansive and epic. Were you intentionally going for that?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's sort of, I had to set up like their repetitive life because that's their life, and so I don't know, the last however many years of their of their life is like condensed into that 10 minutes of movie. So I guess that makes it feel longer.
So, in your mind, had you planned out what happens to the old guy? Does he find his way home?
You know, we talked about that. We did talk about that at the end, and I think originally in the script he did find his way back to the apartment building, but he couldn't. It was like this huge apartment building downtown, and he couldn't get to the top of it, so he just saw like he could hear his voice through the window, but he couldn't figure out how to get back inside because he didn't have keys. And so he's just like watching the apartment like burn down. But I figured like, I don't know, it was kind of better to leave it more open-ended. And it's not really about like what happens to him. It's more about like, that was like their last moment of doing that thing together. You know, it was like the last time they ever went through that routine together, because either he'll make it back home, but like somebody will find him and be like, oh my gosh, these people are living like this, what's going on? And they'll be like moved to an old folks home or something, or else he won't make it back home and she burns in the apartment. I don't know, so.
Well, thank you so much for coming in and sharing with us and imparting some of your wisdom and allowing us to watch such a wonderful movie. Thank you so much. And so this was Brittany West, the writer, director, producer of Old Meal, and she will no doubt go very, very far in cinema.